I know what you've been wondering because I get asked all the time. So let me dispel the rumors once and for all. Despite the uncanny resemblance, I bear absolutely no family relation to Adam Levine or Denzel. This and countless similarly shocking revelations will assuredly astonish you over the next couple of hours, so hit the like and subscribe, because the one thing everybody knows about viewers' discretion is that it is certainly advised. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Viewers Discretion. I'm your host, Joe Neerman, a.k.a. Good Lawgic. Whew. Everything about my setup just feels off. I'm going to get to that later when I tell you about Lady Lawgic. I do want to, I know I put in the billing there, I mentioned that Lady Lawgic was robbed, and she was. But I do want to just get out of the way. Get out of the way up front. She was never in any physical harm. Thank God she was not in any way physically harmed. I don't want anyone to mistakenly be sitting there worrying about her. Thank God she's totally fine. Just money. Just money. And she wasn't even there. But I'll get there. There's a reason I brought it. There's a reason I'm bringing it up. But, yeah, she was robbed. But thank God, no danger to her person whatsoever, and she's totally fine. So, just wanted to get that out of the way. Anyhow, the first thing I wanted to start with, I do look red. I look red. I don't know why. I look so red. This is weird. My lighting is weird. I don't know what's happening here. I don't know what. That's not fixing it. I don't know. All right. Nature has a way of leveling the playing field between predator and prey. Leveling the playing field. By and large, all too frequently, that which is hazardous, that which is dangerous, is kind of freaky looking. A pink frog. Crazy venomous, but you look at it and you say, okay, that's a pink frog. It's kind of hard for the sucker to blend in because you're like, that's a pink frog. I see it, and it's just like in your face, danger, 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 danger. It's like right there. It's right there, right? So that's why when I show you, when I show you this, you say to yourself, okay, that's a predator. That right there. That's furry by day, pervy by night. That's what that is right there. You look at this. How do you see this and not recognize danger, 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 danger? This is just like a penis with eyebrows. This just tells you. This tells you. Danger, danger, danger. So when I tell you that this gentleman was recently arrested on child sex crimes, alleged child sex crimes, you're like, oh, okay. It was a matter of time. That was going to happen. That was going to happen. I mean, look at the guy. I mean, just look at him. From the creepy smile, everything about him. As soon as you see his face, you're like, oh, okay, fine. That's what I see. That's what you see. That's what everyone sees. You know who didn't see that when they saw this face, which was like almost assuredly arrested for indecent exposure countless times during his college life. You know who did it? You know who couldn't tell? Yeah. Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton, when they're choosing policy advisors, they didn't see danger. How do you miss this? How can you not? It's staring you in the face. I'm sorry. I'd be shocked if his high school yearbook doesn't say most likely to get convicted of a sex felony. I mean, look at the guy. Look at the guy. They didn't know. No one knew. No one knew. Look, I'm not a whole Minority Report kind of guy, okay? I mean, big constitutionalist. You know I'm a big constitutionalist. I mean, I don't have to tell you anymore. I think I've established my cred here. I'm really big on the Constitution. So, like, yeah, I'm not saying we should throw the guy in jail, before we catch him on anything. Guilty, innocent until proven guilty, all that good stuff. At the same time, look at the guy. I mean, am I the only one who sees this? Look at it's not the boldness. Okay, I'm gonna share something with you, all right? I'm gonna share something with you. You want to talk about the boldness, okay? I'm bold. I don't hide it. I wear the hat here. The hat is really like a whole statement about the thing. I'm gonna tell you this. I was actually joking with my family today because I had dinner with my son-in-law, and I was like, you've never seen me. I don't think you ever seen me without a beard. So I showed him my driver's license photo. Okay, I'm gonna share it with you now. Okay, I'll tell you right now. This looks like a Russian hitman. I mean, that's what I look like. I look like a friggin' Russian hitman. Okay, I get it. Bald, totally cool with that. I actually told my kids, if you ever lose your hair, don't try growing it out. That's gross, stupid. You look lame as anything. Go with the badass bald look. That's okay. That's kind of tough. The baldness is not the thing. Jason Statham is bald. He doesn't look like a perv. No. It's the creepy smile. It's the face. That's what it is. It's the face. But Barack couldn't see it. Hillary couldn't see it. Senior policy advisor and former President Barack Obama's administration is facing potential jail time for crimes involving children. Daily Mail reported Sunday that 48-year-old Rahamim Shai was arrested by British police in Bedfordshire in late February. Court documents obtained by the Mail reveal Shai is accused of arranging the commission of a child sex offense. No one could have seen that coming. Couldn't see that coming. No, you can't tell what a pink frog either. You can't. There's no way. The rattling sound of a snake. You can't. That could be an innocent little garden snake. Could make a good pet. Shai has also been charged with possession of 2 categories C indecent images of children and possessing a prohibited image of a child. Right. So I assume that's not. I don't think that's paparazzi photos of Angelina Jolie's kids. This is like probably very serious, gross, disturbing stuff that like groomers would have. The Mail report, he appeared at Luton Crown Court via video on Friday wearing gray prison-issued tracksuits. Shai specifically worked in a senior role at the U.S. Treasury Department from 2008 2014. Remember when they were doing that whole like let's target MAGA, weaponized the IRS against, pre-MAGA because there was no MAGA at the time, but basically against anyone who actually stood up for the Constitution. Yeah, that period, that was this guy. That was this guy right here, advising officials on countering the financing of terrorism, assisting foreign governments to impose sanctions on hostile regimes. This possibly explains why he was brought into contact with Clinton, since the State Department imposes sanctions on foreign powers. He also provided strategic policy analysis to chiefs of staff at Department of Defense, according to the Mail. As part of his work with the DoD, he went to Afghanistan to provide expertise to the International Security Assistance Force, a NATO-led group responsible for maintaining stability following America's invasion more than 2 decades ago. After leaving the White House, Shai went on to work for Citibank. He held a variety of top executive positions, according to his LinkedIn page. A spokesman of the bank told the Daily Mail that Shai is no longer employed there. No longer employed there. You don't say. You couldn't see the whole danger thing when you looked at his face. Like a typical woke leftist, Shy's pronouns are proudly displayed in his LinkedIn bio, as one can see below. I guess it says groomer. What does it say? What's executive finance services, strategist and thought leader. Oh, over here. Yeah, okay. Cuck wannabe. God, everything about this guy just creeps me out. The mail reveals Shy has not entered a plea at this time. Is currently in police custody ahead of a hearing in June, scheduled to go on trial in August. So there you go. I don't know why it is that. Why do people not see that? Like I said, there's a difference between throwing someone in jail and saying this is the guy I want to have riding shotgun with me. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't put that. Like you wouldn't put this guy in the back, you know, as a hitchhiker, put him in the back seat with the kids. You just say danger, 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 danger. This is just common sense. Just live with common sense. Just live with common sense. I'm not saying like, you know, no, I'm not looking to criminalize someone here before he commits some sort of crime. I'm just saying you need to be. I don't know. Common sense just seems a lost art. I just wanted to. I saw that, I couldn't believe. I was like, how does anyone not see that coming? How do you not see that coming? I did not see that coming. Any chance you're watching opening statements? I understand if you can't because of Passover. So, I am taking the next 3 days off. It's really 2.5 days. I mean, I'll be back in 72 hours. So I'll be back here Wednesday night. Tomorrow is the first night of Passover. It's pretty much the same rules with respect to electronics. It's exactly the same rules as Shabbos, as is day 2 of Passover. So that's Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday, which means I will be back here Wednesday evening. I might start my show a little late because I'm going to finish up Passover, like sunset and all that other stuff. We wait like an hour after sunset, so it's probably going to be like, I'm probably going to be done with Passover around 9 o'clock, and then I got to start catching up on the news and stuff. So I'll probably start late on Wednesday nights, but I do definitely plan on streaming on Wednesday night. I also plan on streaming on Thursday night. Just breaking down my schedule for you, which I'm going to put up at locals at goodlogic.locals.com. So I'm not streaming Monday night, not streaming Tuesday night. Will be streaming Wednesday night, probably a little late. Plan on streaming Thursday night also. From there, I'm going to have to see. Where I'm at. Next week, there's another 2 days of Passover, which are going to eat up into my schedule also. So, yeah, but I just want to give you all a heads up. I'm not going to be here tomorrow night. I'm not going to be here on Tuesday night either. But I will be back Wednesday night. Now, you're not going to hear from me on Twitter. I'm going to basically be social media hibernation. Technically tomorrow, we're allowed to do work tomorrow. I could, in theory, go to the trial in the morning and make sure I'm back before sunset. It's kind of like Friday for us. You know, we have to be back before sunset for the Sabbath. So too tomorrow night, I have to be back before that. That's technically. The problem is that the Passover Eve, like the day before, it's a very, very hectic time because everyone's preparing. Tomorrow night we're going to have a Seder. I'll talk a little bit more about this when I get into the whole Passover thing later on. So tomorrow night we're going to have a Seder, and there's all sorts of preparation for that, and there's a ton of work, mostly on Lady Lawgic and the kids. And I'm going to be frank with you. Like, she was like, when she was talking to me about tomorrow, she was asking me what my plans were, kind of hoping that I would tell her I would be around while recognizing that this is a pretty big deal what's happening tomorrow. You know, it's the opening statements, President Trump on criminal trial, which is, you know, an hour away from where I live, but you know, with traffic. So it's a pretty big deal tomorrow morning. The rules for Passover actually start, as far as like not eating like bread and stuff like that, they actually start late tomorrow morning. It's a very complicated thing. I'm not going to get into it. But And there's also a bread burning ceremony that is sort of very family oriented, which happens, it's going to happen around 11:30 tomorrow morning, which I've always done that with my family. And I'd feel, do I have to be there for that? You know, as a matter of like Jewish law mandating that I be there for that? No. I'd feel bad missing it. I'd feel bad missing it. It's not quite like missing like your kid playing like, you know, pitching in a game kind of thing, but it's along the same lines. It's along the same lines. I'd feel bad missing it. I'd feel bad missing it. It's a family thing. So it's not like I can be online tomorrow morning. It's just that like there's just stuff that needs to get done, and it's a really terrible day to like basically blow out the whole morning going to the courthouse. So that's why I'm hesitant to go. On the other hand, I don't trust that we're going to get accurate reporting from anybody other than maybe inner city press, and even he's going to be taking down, you know, you're going typing as fast as you can, you get down 25%, 30% of it. So I'm very torn. I'm very, very torn about this. I don't know what I'm going to end up doing. I don't know what I'm going to end up doing. If I go, I'll put out a video afterwards. I'm not going to stay there for the afternoon. Definitely not going to be there in the afternoon. This is just too much that has to get done. So I don't know. It's a good question. That's why I'm being upfront with you that, you know, technically I could go. I know Lady Lawgic is not going to be happy with me if I go. And I would feel kind of crappy about going. I'm very torn about it. YouTube won't let me say penis. Of course they won't. Of course they won't. They get tired of hearing it all the time. I appreciate you, Chag Pesach Kasher V'Sameach. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. No way you're missing any family stuff. We can make do with inner city press while you're gone. Yeah. I mean, it's like a 20-minute thing, but like if you're not there, it's very noticeable if I'm not there. It's very, very noticeable if I'm not there. So anyhow, all right, let's get into before I get into Trump. I wanted to just share with you this. I want to share with you this that I found, because this kind of is shocking. I noticed this right before I came online.
Is something that you called on the Biden administration to do, which is just to simply ignore the court ruling. That's a pretty stunning position if you think about it. When this case is resolved by the Supreme Court, should the administration follow that decision if that decision ends up banning this abortion drug?
Courts rely on the legitimacy of their rulings.
Okay, yes, that's true. They very much do.
And when they make a mockery of our system,
a mockery of a system, because you disagree with their ruling and you understand zero about the law. You're a friggin' bartender. You're a jackass. You're a joke. What you think the law should be is not making a mockery of the law if someone disagrees with you, because your understanding of the law is a mockery of the law.
Mockery of our democracy and a mockery of our law, then I believe that the executive branch, and we know that the executive branch has an enforcement discretion, especially in light of a contradicting ruling.
She is a...
What? Enforcement discretion? Enforcement discretion? What the heck are you talking about? Enforcement discretion? This is what the new wave politician believes, that there's an enforcement discretion? So she's calling on the executive branch to not uphold a decision by the Supreme Court of the United States.
Living, walking, breathing mockery of democracy by her as a congressperson in one branch of government calling on another branch of government, the executive branch, to ignore the decisions of the third branch, the judicial branch. I think she's in a violation of her oath of office.
I totally agree with this. 1,000%. That is not upholding her oath. Her oath of office is to defend, I want to make sure I don't want to get this wrong. She's supposed to be upholding the Constitution of the United States. Constitution says judicial branch decides what the law is. Look at the exact words of this. What oath does Congress take? So there's a difference between the president and everyone else. Well, what she said, I, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. True faith and allegiance to the same. And she has no bloody clue what the hell is written in the Constitution. I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Support the Constitution, support and defend the Constitution of the United States, and she's urging the executive branch to dispense with decisions from the judicial branch that they don't like. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's insurrection. That's insurrection. We want to talk about 14th Amendment? That's insurrection. Dude, you've asked me to do this. You've asked me to do this, and I have. Whenever I have more than like 2 things, I share everything over in locals. Always. Like I've been doing it for like a month now. At your specific request. You were the one who asked me, and I was like, you know what? He's right. So I don't get what you want. I've been doing it. Over the last couple of weeks, most of the stuff I've been doing has been prepping and, creating documents that you all watch me create here. There's no links for me to share with you. And when I created those documents, I shared them with you. I don't know what else I can share. What do you want me to give like a photocopy of my driver's license? I show my driver's license. What else can I share? What can I do? What do you want? You want blood? You want blood? Do you want blood? Tell me if you want the blood. I'll give you the blood. Tell me what you want from me. I don't know what you want. I'm trying. I recognized you were right. I deferred. I said, you know what? This guy he gets it. He's right. I should. If you follow me on locals, and everyone who's supporting me over there on locals, I'm sharing their links. So in case you want to catch this thing, I plan on sharing the links, like for example, this link right here. Or the article that I just shared about about creepy, pervy, furry dude who's been charged as I plan on sharing that. I share it after the show. Otherwise, what are you going to come here watching me for? It's like I'll just give you. It's funny because in yeshiva when they study Talmud, so they get a lecture from the rabbi, and beforehand they get Mara Makomos. Mara Makomos is like showing you the places, like the different sources that he plans on using. You need to study that beforehand before you go into the lecture, because the lecture is very deep, and if you're not familiar with the source material before you walk in there, you're cooked. You're cooked. That's not what this is, though. This is not some graduate level course. I give the lecture, and then after it's over, I give you my sources in case you want to check it out for yourself. But it's not like there's not going to be a test on this later. This is not like I don't know what you want. I'm doing the best I can. Half the stuff I come up with like 5 minutes before the show, like this thing right here. Doing the best I can. I'm doing the best I can. I'm just one man. Just one man. Put Lansball on the courthouse doorways to Trump after Passover. That will work, right? It should. It should. God, I'll Passover. Passover. The problem is I want some people in there to be smitten. Some people in there need some smiting. They need some smiting. All right. Speaking of Trump, let's get into that. Where are you? All right, let's talk about what this case is supposed to be about here. This also is a link I plan on sharing. I thought this was a good. There's 2 breakdowns here that we're going to be watching. I thought this was a good. I found this to be a good breakdown as to what this trial is about from mainstream media sources, and I'll give you my perspectives about their take on it. But I just wanted to, we'll start with this.
Money case is the first of 4 criminal cases to move to trial.
This, by the way, is NBC. So.
President Donald Trump was charged with 34 counts of falsifying records in the first degree. But Trump is not the only one involved. Michael Cohen will likely be.
See, what they're not explaining to you is that it's falsifying records in support of a crime. He has to be committing a crime. There's a crime he has to be committing. And they don't really share that in this report. And if he's not in furtherance of a crime, there's no charge. So you still have to break down, well, what was the crime?
The star witness in the hush money case. He was Donald Trump's lawyer and fixer. And on August 21st, 2018, he pled guilty to 8 counts in Manhattan federal court.
Alleged fixer, but he did plead guilty on perjury. Pled guilty to perjury.
And Cohen alleged in a court of law, Donald Trump directed him to make illegal payments to influence the 2016 election.
Notice how they left out a very important word there, like perjury. Like, yes, as in he lies not just in general in his role, but under oath, he lies. So now he's told the media, not even under oath, that that's what he was doing.
Which Trump denies.
I did it at the direction of and for the benefit of Donald J. Trump.
But you're a liar, so we have no idea what the hell you're talking about. And you're also making a ton of money from lying. Like hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars that you're making by lying. That's how you made your living, and you're continuing to say the exact opposite to an audience which is salivating over hearing you say the exact opposite of what you were saying beforehand, because you basically have a forked tongue, and you'll say whatever you need to say in order to make money.
Cohen was sentenced to 3 years in prison. Cohen alleges he orchestrated payoffs to 2 women who said they had affairs with Donald Trump, including Stormy Daniels. He says he sought reimbursement from Trump and even recorded one of their conversations about it. The FBI seized that tape during a raid on Cohen's residence and office.
Yeah, the tape doesn't really say very much, though. It's really very, very. I heard the tape. I want to see if I can get a hold of that tape for you. I don't know if I'm going to get it tonight. I might have to get it for you at some point in the future.
Cohen's attorney released it to the media. Adult film actress.
Let me see if I can get it now. Let me see. I'll show you that beforehand. Michael Cohen, Trump. Are we getting the actual recording here? Useless. You're useless, CNN. That's a surprise.
This newly released audio of a private conversation between then-candidate Donald Trump and his fixer is raising new questions about an alleged cover-up before the 2016 election. Mr. Trump and his longtime lawyer, Michael Cohen, can be heard discussing a payment involving former Playboy model Karen McDougal. She says that she had an affair with Mr. Trump.
This is not what he's charged with. This is not what he's charged with. He's charged with respect to his recording of payments with, in connection to Stormy Daniels. But it's likely that this judge, I don't think it should be admitted in court, but it's likely that this judge will admit it in courts. Whether that's, which creates an appealable issue, the question is whether or not he would win on such an appeal.
More than a decade ago, and the president has denied that.
Repeatedly, he's denied that. Michael Cohen's lawyer, that's Lanny
Do you have
Davis,
the audio?
released a secret recording to CNN last night.
Oh, for crying out loud. Can we get a full, can we actually, I would love to hear the audio. That's what I thought you were going to give me, and you were useless.
Explosive audio of Trump lawyer Michael Cohen threatening a reporter has leaked. Cohen calling himself Trump's fixer, and certainly here we see some of the dirty work. He's known to carry a gun in his holster on an ankle. So when he makes threats, people listen. Now, this is the first time you're actually going to hear the audio. This is from a 2015 story from then Daily Beast reporter Tim Mack.
2015.
That was discussing the fact that in divorce proceedings, Trump's ex-wife Ivana had used the word rape when talking about Trump, although she had later retracted.
Look at how they're desperately trying to dig up stuff from 2015. They're so desperate.
Any suggestion that there was a technical or physical rape. Now, the reporter had called Hope Hicks for comment, then got this angry callback from Cohen. It begins in this discussion, which you have to hear to believe, with Cohen falsely asserting the idea that legally one could not, quote, rape one's own wife, which the reporter pushed back on. And then this happened.
Today will be the day that you will regret. I know where you're going with this stupid story, and I know what you're planning on doing. And if there's any inference whatsoever, whether it's in the headline or any aspect of your article that indicates a rape, and I don't care about some small line that you're going to throw in somewhere, off my words for it, I will make sure that you and I meet one day while we're in the courthouse. And I will take you for every penny you still don't have.
So that's the, where's the gun part? Where's the gun part? So basically, he's an animal. That's what we can tell from this. He's a friggin' animal. Okay.
And I will come after you, Daily Beast, and everybody else that you possibly know. Do not even think about going to where I know you're planning on going. And that's my warning for today.
What an idiot. What a doofus. You leave that on a recording? You leave that on a recording. Wow. What an incompetent boob.
Michael, besides the warning,
Oh, it wasn't on recording. Okay.
do you have a substantive comment that I can include in my piece that reflects your views on this? I have no views because there's no story.
No story. Now, the
Oh, okay. Okay. Which you can understand why Trump would assume that his political enemies would try to just throw out the R word anywhere they possibly can. I don't remember I don't see anything illegal in that conversation. I don't see anything. I'm trying to figure out, I mean, he's an animal. Okay. But I'm so confused. What are we getting from this? What are you what Linda, tell me. You're watching. Linda, tell me. What do you get from this? So his lawyer was an animal to a reporter from the Daily Beast who he thought that the reporter from the Daily Beast was going to be lying about him, and he said, if you lie about him, I'm going to be coming after you and suing you for every penny you still don't have. So okay, he's kind of an animal in the way he talks. What are we getting at this? I don't even understand. It's like they're so
Reporter then
desperate.
presses Cohen for anything else on these Ivana allegations.
You write whatever you want, but rest assured, like I told Univision and like I told everybody else in the past, you can certainly look it up online. I swear as God and my children, I will find you, I will serve you personally, and I will be nothing but happy when I turn around and I get a judgment for defamation against you and the people you work for.
It's actually nothing. There's nothing remotely illegal here. Like, he's acting as Trump's agent. He's not even doing anything illegal. This so nothing. They have so nothing. They have nothing.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Michael, once you're 24 freaking years old, once you destroy your life, then it'll be my privilege to serve it to you on a freaking silver platter. Like I did that idiot from Pennsylvania to Miss USA, because I think she's dumber than she is.
You are hearing unvarnished how Michael Cohen rolls. Now, in these new
Okay.
audio tapes, which again have just come out tonight, the reporter then tells Cohen he doesn't think that this is a productive conversation and asks what is being misinterpreted.
Do you think that I'm misinterpreting?
So we're selecting certain. Obviously, NBC is desperately trying to find something here. So they're selecting portions that they think show something about Trump. Like, what does this show about Trump? I don't even. What does this show us? I don't think this recording is gonna get in because this doesn't show anything.
Some of the facts here. I know you are. Listen, my friend, don't be a smartass with me. Do you understand? I'm giving you an opportunity. I know you. I don't need your opportunity, you little. I know exactly who you are. I know exactly what you do. I know exactly the story you plan on writing. So I'm warning you. Tread very lightly because what I'm going to do to you is going to be disgusting. Do you understand me? Don't think you're going to hide behind your
Fat pig.
It's not going to happen. Look, I'm more than happy to discuss it with your attorney and with your legal counsel because you're going to need it.
I'm joined by Betsy Woodruff of the Daily Beast. Hi, Betsy.
Hey, Ari.
How you doing?
It's quite a
All right. Well, that's not the audio that I was looking for. Funny as it is. Funny as it is. I don't know what we're getting out of this. Chag Sameach Joe. Sahat Silliman. The Shana Baba Yushalayim. Thank for this. Helps my anxiety. I'm here for you. I'm here for you. Was Cohen on F Troop? I don't know. I don't know. Your audio is fine. A bunch of the chat apparently woke up on the wrong side of the wine bottle today. Oh, were they complaining about my audio? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, who's this clown? Who is this clown? Doofus. Oh my god. Oh, you hate the Jews. Oh, you hate the Jews. Oh, it's the Jews. Oh, that's what it is. Oh, you have a problem with the Jews. Oh, okay, I understand. I got it. I got it. I get it. I've met your kind before. That's all right. You stood up for the Jews. Yeah, you're involved. You're very involved. Oh, you're on the right side of history. Oh, yeah, that always works out on the right side of history right there. That right there is right side of history. You're doing well. You're doing well. Very involved, very informed, very educated. All right. All right. Well, that wasn't really the audio I was looking for. That wasn't the audio I was looking for. Audio is a little different than normal. That's what I'm getting. Am I not running through the right thing? Let me hear myself.
But with a real good excuse.
They plead not guilty.
Let me hear myself. Oh, audio is not good.
But with a real good.
It's not good. That's not audio. That's not audio I'm proud of. I'm on a different computer than what I'm normally on. Let me make sure. Let's try this one. Let's see how that is. Let's see how that is. I don't know. Let me see how I sound now.
Excuse.
They plead not guilty.
I don't know. I think that's better now. I'm muffled now? I can turn.
Excuse.
They plead not guilty.
Oh my god. I don't know. Why do I think that's better now? I'm muffled now? I can turn.
Excuse.
They plead.
Oh my god. Okay, I gotta stop that. That's terrible. I'm sorry. Alright. Let me do this. I'm gonna raise myself back up. I'll raise my audio settings. Okay, let's try that now. Should be good now. I'll raise my audio settings. Okay, let's try that now. Should be good now. I'll raise my audio settings. Okay, I think I'm better now. Still too low. I'll raise it a drop more. A drop more. I'm gonna blow your eardrums out. Okay, that's as high as I'm going. That's as high as I'm going. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna hear myself on YouTube. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna hear myself on YouTube. Why? Test. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Testing. Oh Lord. All right. I still sound like really like awesome, just not like booming loud. That's basically what I'm getting here. But I happen to like the pitch. I like the pitch. The pitch is solid. Pitch is something I'm like, oh, okay, that's something to be proud of. I mean, look, it's not Valiant Renegade, but it's up there. It's very solid. It's very solid. Where was I at? Okay, let me get to this.
Stormy Daniels, also known as Stephanie Clifford, says she met Donald Trump in 2006 at a celebrity golf tournament when he was the host of The Apprentice.
Who loves The Apprentice?
Stormy says they had sex that night, and he offered to cast her in The Apprentice, which Trump denies. In 2011, the story leaked. Stormy says she gave an interview to a tabloid magazine for $15,000. It remained unpublished until 2018. But 2 years earlier, when Donald Trump was running for president, a tape from Access Hollywood,
We're ready. Let's go.
leaked, which prosecutors say caused panic within the Trump campaign. 2 weeks later, Stormy Daniels was paid $130,000 by Trump's attorney, Michael Cohen. Karen McDougal is an ex-Playboy model and says she had an affair with Donald Trump. They allegedly met in 2006 at the Playboy Mansion.
None of this is relevant to the trial. That's the problem. The problem they're having is, and for one reason or another, Judge Merchan is allowing it in. Surprise, surprise. He's allowing that in to establish some sort of pattern or something. I don't even understand how it establishes a pattern. How are you establishing a pattern that what? That he's trying before the court. He's paying people off long before he's running for president. So what makes you think that he's paying them off to help his election? See, this is the thing. Everyone looks at Karen McDougal as if, like, you know, that's harming his case. I gotta tell you, at the end of the day, Karen McDougal only shows that this is a guy that, yeah, you know what? He might wet his willy more than we would look for in a president, not gonna kid you. But that's certainly, unfortunately, all too prevalent a problem amongst our political leaders. But as far as him committing a crime here, just the opposite. The fact that Karen McDougal got paid off well before the guy was interested in looking to win an election is indicative that that's what he does. He pays him off. It's got nothing to do with winning elections. And if it's got nothing to do with winning elections, why the hell is he being charged with election fraud for the payments related to Stormy Daniels? Oh, these are real serious legal issues that they have with trying to win this case. And somehow, it just like I almost like wonder like whether like legal analysis just gets lost on people, like completely lost, as far as okay, what exactly is the crime the guy's purportedly committed? What do we know about him? What is established about him? And what conclusions can we draw as to whether or not his patterns that he continues doing the exact same way afterwards can indicate to us about whether or not he's committed a crime? Let's understand here, in order for him to be guilty of a crime, we have to say first that he's trying to break election law. He's purposefully trying to break election law. And to help him break that election law, he's falsifying business records. So put aside the weirdness of the fact that we have a state statute designed to say you're falsifying books to help commit a federal statute, which this state statute has never been used that way before. First time we ever came up with the idea of using it that way was specifically for the former president of the United States, presumptive GOP presidential candidate. So that's already really, really shady. But then when we're sitting here trying to understand look into his mindset, what is his objective here? Why is he doing it? Is he paying her so he can win an election, or is he paying her for any of a myriad of other reasons, like not to have fights with Melania, or to help his PR for his overall PR for, I don't know, The Apprentice or whatever it is that he's doing? He doesn't like having bad PR. And this is a guy who's been in public limelight for the last 40 years. So what did he do in the past? Oh, he paid them off. Was it because he was trying to win an election then? Obviously not. So yeah, he invests in protecting his PR to help cover up his mistakes, or his errors in judgment, or his unabated unabated libido. He pays through the nose to help protect his PR image. And it's got nothing to do with him running for president. So it's got nothing to do with him running for president. How the hell is this election finance campaigning? The judge, I can't say that. Then all the helpers send you messages when you start GoFundMe. I have 10 messages offering help for money. I'll tell you this. I've had a lot of people tell me that I should start some sort of GoFundMe or Give Send Go or something like that for this constitutional effort that I'm fighting here. I do not anticipate starting anything of the kind. I don't think, and there's a reason, there are a few reasons that I don't anticipate doing that. But paramount to that is this. I am looking for someone to come in and take over this case. I don't think that they should be doing it about the money. And if I certainly cannot afford to finance them, and I don't want to collect money from the public and then use that to pay an attorney who then any mistake that attorney makes, I will feel personally responsible for, that I chose this person where I got money from X and I'm giving that money to Y and I'm choosing who Y is. So now if Y F's up, I feel like I just wasted X's money. So that's why I don't anticipate doing that. And yes, I understand that anyone can make mistakes and you can blow it or whatever, but it's like I just feel I'm like, I don't need to be the one who's deciding that this is the attorney who I'm going to be bringing in here. I don't want to take that position, even if it's someone who everyone would, most people would agree this is the best one. I just don't like it. I don't like anything about it. So that's why I haven't been trying to raise money. That's why, to the extent people have helped me defray costs, I definitely appreciate it. I'm not independently wealthy. I'm very far from independently wealthy. But, thank God I haven't been losing money here. And I'm just going to do this as best I can. But if I start making this thing like, send me money so I can go to court and help defend your rights, I just feel as if it changes the entire tone of what I'm doing here, where it becomes like an angle. That this is good Lawgic's new angle to try and like grift. I don't need it. And that's not what this is. I don't want this ever to be misinterpreted as something along those lines. So, yeah. Clinton has higher numbers than Trump on payoffs. I'm sure he does. I'd rather have a president that slept with Playboy playmate than his babysitter and a fake doctor. Barack had that one dude on, and Big Mike Gross, yeah. They all have their issues. Some of them, they get kept more quiet than others. Seems like Democrats, it's weird that if you only ask them what flavor ice cream they like, you never find out about their dark secrets. Whereas NBC News, Ari Fleischer is digging up into like 2015 in conversations that Michael Cohen had with Karen McDougal that have nothing to do with that were like 2 years, that was not Trump on the phone, and it's 2 years before he's running for office. So stupid. Jay Luther, you seem to be very confused because it's not misuse of campaign money, it's failure to report it as campaign money. It's not that he took campaign money. In fact, if he had labeled it campaign money and then spent it on her or to pay her off, arguably that would be a misuse of campaign money. That's why I say that this entire case is F you through that door, F you through this door. No matter which door he would have walked through, District Attorney Alvin Bragg likely would have tried charging him. That's my point. No matter which way he spent this money. If he had gone and if he had labeled it campaign funds, they would have said, that's a misuse of campaign funds for your own personal benefit, to protect and insulate you from your PR and to help your marriage, and has nothing to do with your campaign, and that's a personal expenditure, and now you took campaign funds and used it on a personal expenditure of giving it to Stormy. And we're going to charge you for misusing campaign funds. And if you don't label it campaign funds, we're going to label it campaign funds and then tell you that you failed to label it campaign funds and throw you in prison for that. So once he's making this payment, which is a completely legal payment, no matter which way he slices it, the DNC was going to try and throw him in jail for it. That's what makes this so utterly disgusting and corrupt. If you don't understand that, I don't know how much more plainly I can express it to you. But don't tell me for a second that if he had labeled that campaign funds, that they would not have tried to say the exact opposite of what they are saying now. Right now, they're saying that you failed to label as campaign funds and you had to. If he had labeled as campaign funds, they would have done exactly what you're describing, Jay Luther, of saying you're misusing campaign funds for your own personal benefit. And we're going to want to throw you in jail for that. And when you're telling me that you can't even, and no one can figure out which is the right way to go to avoid an indictment, that means there's something completely messed up about the prosecution in the first place. Ran top New York City landlord-tenant firm building, early 80s, disliked Trump, playboy, divorced AC gambling, but liked him after his Central Park ice rink. He grew on me. Yeah, here's a way of doing that. Here's a way of growing people. There's not a grift type of grift, kind of like, yes, it's not a grift type of grift. It's not at all a grift type of grift. But send me money for the love of God. Send me money. Bildo says, Joe, how's it hanging? Sucks that your wife got robbed. Does my good lady Lawgic carry? Also, did my first live stream the other day and had a blast. Finally passed 200 followers here on Rumble. Good for you, Bulldozer. Building a following on Rumble is difficult. So, yeah, good for you. Go get them. Go get them. All right. So, getting into what we should be looking for in this trial. I wanted to get to that. Let's do that.
The eve of a historic moment in American history. Tomorrow, for the first time, prosecutors will present opening statements in a criminal trial of a former U.S. president. Donald Trump will walk into a Manhattan courtroom tomorrow morning where he will hear the state's case against him. He is facing dozens of charges related to an alleged hush money payment to adult film actress Stormy Daniels made before the 2016 election. This is the first of 4 criminal cases against Trump to go to trial. CNN's Marshall Cohen joining us now with more on this. Marshall, walk us through what the trial just might look like.
Hey, Fred, it's history in the making in New York City tomorrow, where Donald Trump will be the first former president of the United States to watch the opening statements in his own criminal trial. So let's just remind everybody how we got here, because we're just a few months away from the 2024 election, but this is all about the 2016 presidential election. Donald Trump facing 34 felony charges. Those are state charges brought.
Okay, so we know all this stuff. You're giving us kid stuff here. Let's move on. Let's move on. I want the other guy. I want this guy who looks like his obituary is going to say, I don't know why she cheated on me. I want someone who's real. Who's actually been in a courtroom.
Now turned state's witness, and he is a serious critic of Donald Trump. It was him who paid the money to Stormy Daniels in 2016 to keep her quiet. She never went public with those allegations before the 2016 election, thanks to that hush money payment.
Oh, so he points out expected witnesses: Michael Cohen, Stormy Daniels, Hope Hicks, who's former aide, who used to work with Michael Cohen, Karen McDougal, and David Pecker. David Pecker is from, I don't know, the Inquirer or some other newspaper thing, which some rag that wanted to buy Stormy Daniels' story for $150,000, or maybe Karen McDougal's. I don't know. Who cares? National Enquirer. Okay.
There's also Hope Hicks. She is a Trump.
I don't know how it is that David Pecker is going to know anything, but clearly he needs to be inserted, and I'm sure that the state believes that he's going to help their case. With whatever hearsay he'll be able to help boast, or that he heard from Hope Hicks or Michael Cohen. They'll probably, if anything, they'll probably use him to try and rehabilitate any issues with the credibility of Michael Cohen by saying, no, this is stuff he told me beforehand.
Campaign official. She was part of the scramble behind the scenes in 2016 to prevent more damaging information from coming out against the candidate. Then on the bottom, you have Karen McDougal and David Pecker. McDougal is a former Playboy playmate who also alleged that she had an affair with Donald Trump, and David Pecker, as the head of the National Enquirer, purchased the rights to her story. But they buried it. They never published it, Fred, and that is part of a scheme that prosecutors have called catch and kill.
And yeah, how many other times did he do that? That's the point. The point is that he was always trying to catch and kill, much like everybody in Hollywood. That's what they do. Catch and kill. Meaning, let's catch the story and kill the story.
Between Pecker, Cohen, and Trump to find bad stories, anything damaging about Trump, buy it, bury it, and make sure the voters would never hear about it.
Let's not make sure the voters never hear about it. You see, that's where you're sticking in your stupid, twisted perspective. Because he was doing that long before he was concerned about voters, when he was concerned about his own PR for The Apprentice. Voters. You frame them as voters, but he was always concerned about his public image. Going back, that's kind of how you have a clean image for 40 years, even while you're walking around saying things that he likes to grab women by the private parts.
Fred?
All right, Marshall Cohen, thanks so much. Let's bring in our legal expert now. Michael Zeldin is a former federal prosecutor who
Which is not actually what he said. He said that when you're wealthy, you can get away with that.
served as Robert Mueller's special assistant at the Department of Justice, and he's the host of That Said with Michael Zeldin podcast. Michael, great to see you. So, opening statements tomorrow.
So this is the guy I wanted to get to here, because I think he actually does a fair assessment here as to what we should anticipate procedurally to happen. What he's saying to me, what you're about to hear him say as far as how he expects the breakdown to go, I think is probably... I agree with his assessment, most of his assessment here. I don't remember his framing, but I remember that most of his assessment, I was like, yeah, that sounds like what we should anticipate.
Case of this magnitude, how long do you expect those statements to go?
They could last an hour or two each. I don't think it's that complicated.
I don't think it's gonna be 2 hours. I don't think it's gonna be 2 hours each. I think that each of them will probably go for 45 to 90 minutes. I don't expect any of them to go beyond 90 minutes.
Case, you probably could get it done within 40 minutes or so, but lawyers these days seem to talk a lot longer in opening statements than when I was trying cases. So we'll have to see, Fred. But this is a pretty straightforward case factually.
No, it's really not. It's really not.
And what the process...
That's where I still don't think it's going to be 2 hours. But, all right.
Prosecution needs to do is define what the terms of this case are about, which is business fraud. This is not a private agreement between private citizen Trump and private citizen Stormy Daniels, something that they could have done, but rather this is a complicated scheme to defraud.
You just said it's simple.
The voters of the information they needed before the election and the taxpayers of New York for the income that they might get if this was properly reported on their books and records.
What? This is about the income New York would have gotten on $130,000? What? What? No. What? No. What? What? I thought... Okay, I take back what I said earlier.
So how important is it going to be for prosecutors to also use this opportunity to kind of teach?
I don't expect them to come out with that at all. I don't expect them to come out with that. Now I feel like I need to go down there. No, I expect them to come out and basically say that this was all a scheme designed to help him win an election. Not that this is, and that he lied to help win an election. And if you feel like you're confident that you've assembled a jury of New Yorkers who are, who feel like, oh, he's trying to steal the election, that's how you hit it. Not that, oh, we just got deprived out of $12,000 in New York revenue, or whatever we would have taken on $130,000, whatever, $50,000 that we would have gotten in tax revenue. No, that sounds so stupid. No. You try and frame it as if he was trying to steal an election by keeping this all quiet. not having it part of his election thing. That's how they're going to phrase it.
The jurors, some of them may not be, very familiar with business, what's permissible, what's unethical, what's illegal. So they're
because paying hush money is 100% legal. That's the problem you got there.
Opening statements might also be an opportunity to kind of teach them what the roadmap will be, or will they be saving that for later?
No, I think that is exactly what I would do were I trying this case. I'd want to say, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, let me tell you what this case is about. Let me educate you about the facts of this case, what the scheme was, what its intention was, how that intention was accomplished. And here are the witnesses who are going to be testifying to that. And by the way, here are the business records themselves that support everything we are saying. So you can believe or not believe an individual witness here or there, but the business records support everything each of them is saying. So at the end of the case, we're going to ask you for a verdict of guilty.
We've seen already part of the strategy of Trump's defense team has been to delay by a number of motions, and most defense attorneys would do that, right? But I'm wondering, too, do you expect that...
I'm surprised that she admits that. That is something most defense attorneys would do.
They might be argumentative in the midst of the prosecutor's opening statements as a delay tactic or something else, some other motivation.
Well, it's a great
delay tactic by saying objection. You're delaying that's going to delay all of 45 seconds while the judge denies your objection. I don't know. Maybe they'll have legitimate objections. Maybe they won't. I don't know. Maybe they may employ that. It's an unorthodox thing to do. It's an unusual thing to do. But you don't usually object in the middle of opening statements. Quite the contrary. Sometimes it's good to sort of have them make their bed, unless they're misstating the law, which I don't anticipate that they will do. You kind of, if they're gonna give themselves enough rope to hang themselves, that they're saying they're promising something that you don't expect they're gonna be able to deliver. So you don't object. I don't know. I don't understand that. And that wouldn't be delaying anything.
Question. When I was a defense attorney, I used to periodically object in the opening statement of prosecutors. Very unusual. I was just an annoying lawyer. I don't think they'll object in the opening statements, but I do think they will make a big push to get out their counter narrative, which was there was no fraud here. There was no intention to defraud anybody. This was just an agreement between Citizen Trump and Citizen Daniels to pay money to suppress a story which was untrue but damaging. And so there was a calculation made that...
They also talk about how he always did that. That's what he always did. Nothing to do with election. And if it's got nothing to do with election, then there's no case here and they must dismiss.
Like with Karen McDougal or others, we would suppress, just like Bill Clinton did.
See, if I was on his defense team, and I'm hoping his defense team does this, I would really be stressing that this Donald Trump's journey into politics was not his first rodeo with PR, and he'd been involved in protecting his public image for decades successfully. During the course of that time, invariably, there are going to be people who are going to be lying on you a lot. That's what they're going to do. You don't phrase it in New York as lying on you, because no one in New York would ever say lying on you. I kind of changed my vernacular for you fine folks. You would say, but you might use more expressive terminology. But there are going to be a lot of people coming out of the woodwork who are looking at a piece of you and threatening to lie about you, people who know you, who are duplicitous and full of crap, and that they're going to come out and basically say, hey, unless you pay me, I'm going to be telling all these damaging lies about you. And it's part of the cost of doing business when you're a successful entrepreneur in the limelight for 40 years is that there's a lot of people who do that, and you make calculated decisions as to when you're going to silence them and when you're going to ignore them. So sometimes you have to make a calculated decision. These payments are all completely legal. It's basically a way to help you insulate yourself from a bunch of liars who want to get a piece of you because they're so excited that they actually spend 10 minutes in your company. And now they want to take advantage of that. And that these people fall into that category. That's how you're going to frame it here. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's how his lawyers likely frame it. And that Trump decided that it was better to put these particular individuals in his rearview mirror by paying them rather than dealing with potential PR backlash. That's what he did when he was on The Apprentice. That's what he always did to protect his image. It's what he did before he was on The Apprentice. He might bring examples of different scenarios where he paid people off. That would be helpful. And so this is not that I'm paying people off because I'm worried about voters. It's that he pays people off because he just doesn't want to deal with the hit to his PR. That's part of the reason he was as loved as he was for so many decades. That's why he won the NAACP Man of the Year award. You kind of want to throw that in there also, right? Why not, right? So you say that's how you do that. If there's people who are continually lying about you, that damages your PR. It actually presents an opportunity for Trump's attorneys to get up there and basically talk about just how loved he was in New York for so many decades until he ran for office. Sort of remind those old school New Yorkers who might be sitting in the jury that, yeah, you always liked him. Everyone did. There was no reason not to like him. He's a very likable person. And you remind them of that, and you say that part of the cost of doing business and maintaining that is that sometimes you have to pay people off. And that's what he did. And that if he had put this down as an election finance charge, that was arguably an illegal thing to do. Because that's not what he was doing. He was doing what he always did. I think that's the way you open. I think that's the way I would open. Mr. Bove, if you're watching me, that's how you should open, I think. Look, you have the red well. I don't know what facts you're planning on putting forward in your defense. See, I'm going to trust whoever has the red well. They know what facts they're going to be able to adduce at trial. I'm simply saying that seems like a pretty good tactic to go with. And it gives you a lot of opening to basically show, just how difficult it is to be a celebrity in this city who has any kind of life and how frequently people lie on you, and also to remind the jury just how much they likely liked him in 2015. For the 30 years before that. I don't know, that's how I would do it. I'm curious if you would do it differently. If you do it differently, let me know. You drop a comment down below. Let me know. Tell me what your thoughts are. This is a good point for me to remind you all. I'm going to be gone for 3 days. I'm going to miss you. I'm going to miss you terribly. I really do miss that. I really do miss hanging out here. While you're here, if you could like and subscribe and do all that good stuff. Yeah, so do that. Like, subscribe, do that. And check me out on goodlogic.locals.com so you never miss me wherever I am.
Did with the so-called bimbo eruptions when he was running, no harm, no foul, no intent to defraud, private case.
I think he was talking about Clinton with the bimbo eruptions.
Government prosecuting me because I'm Donald Trump to interfere with the election. I think sort of that's their narrative. We'll see how much leeway the judge gives them to make it, though.
Okay. And you say
leeway to make it? Why would he not have leeway to make it? I don't understand what the argument would be from the judge against that.
Statements, it could be just an hour or so. That means there would be room for witness number 1 or 2. Would the judge want things to keep moving in that respect and get the witnesses in if it turns out that opening statements are very short, or would the judge instead want to wait until a new fresh day?
Well, it depends on how long into the day it runs.
There's going to be witness testimony in the afternoon tomorrow.
Let's say they start right away, 9:30 in the morning.
It could be in the morning.
With opening statements, and opening statements take all morning. Then they have a lunch break, and then they'll call the first witness in the afternoon. If I'm wrong and the opening statements last hours and hours, and it's not until 3 o'clock that they are ready for the first witness. The judge could make a determination to start fresh in the morning, but I think that we might have a very good chance of seeing witness number one tomorrow in the afternoon.
All right. Michael Zeldin, good to see you. Thank you.
All right. So there you go. Wasn't this determined not to be campaign fraud by SCOTUS during the Edwards campaign issued 20 years ago? I don't recall that. I don't recall that. It's a false reporting Trump payments were post-2016 election. No, it was the bookkeeping that was post the 2016 election. It was the bookkeeping afterwards, which that's another issue that they have, is that a lot of these charges relate to after he was elected. So what are you saying, that he was running for office in 2017 when these crimes purportedly happened? Not all of them. I think some of them were. I haven't looked at the charges in a year. Grabber posted on Twitter earlier, David Peck will make good Moel because of the name. I think possibly second to Anthony Weiner, just me. Sounds like you may be on your camera microphone instead of the real production mic. What? Why are people saying these things about me? Why are y'all lying on me? I don't understand. Let me hear. I don't understand. Let me hear. I don't understand. I don't know what's going on. Isn't this guy one of the clowns who took on the New York mob and in doing so opened New York City to the violence of street gangs? I don't know that to be the case. Worcestershire leader! Member for 9 months. Have a wonderful, blessed Passover and rest of the year. Been here, but quiet his whole left side of face infected from dental abscess. I neglected. Dope! I pray God will set me free from this current agony. Me too. I hope you feel better. Remember, for 24 months, 2 freaking years. For that, I'm going to give you one of these. That doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right. I have a new $20 one. You want to hear my new $20 one? My new $20 one? Way better. That's way better. Don't tell me that's not way better. That's way better. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, which this brings me to my Passover story. So actually not Passover story, to the Lady Lawgic story. And we went to the in-laws for Shabbos this week. They live in Brooklyn. We're used to living in more suburban type of areas here. So, yeah, apparently Lady Lawgic's purse was left in her car. And some folks went into the car and basically raided her purse. Now, this means that they basically took her purse. Now, we didn't know anything about it because we don't go to the car until Saturday night. And this clearly happened at least before 2 o'clock because that's when they started spending our money in Foot Locker and in Target and all these places that fine folks tend to spend money. And they were basically cleaning out everything there so that by the time Shabbos ended, there was no money left in my account. Because I share a joint account there with Lady Lawgic, and they hit that sucker pretty hard. So they had a good time. I'm sure that no one's ever going to even be looking for them. And then we had to cancel our credit cards. But the astonishing thing to me is this. The reason I bring this up, the reason I even mention this story, is because they left behind her driver's license, left behind an insurance card, and it's like I've gone through her purse, okay? I know what a nightmare that is. Going through her purse is a pain in the neck. I mean, there's just stuff. There's just stuff. It's like I open it and it's like I need like a particular credit card, and it's like I feel like I'm back in fifth grade, going through like those card catalogs there. It's just like, why do you have all these things in here? And these folks felt so comfortable sitting in my car. I believe in broad daylight. I don't know what time we were robbed, but I believe it was not at night because they didn't start spending money till the afternoon. They felt so comfortable just sitting there, going through it, and just throwing this we don't need, this we don't need, this one I'll take, this, oh, here's cash, we'll take that. This I don't need, this one I want, this one I want, this we don't need, this we don't need. That they actually felt like completely comfortable just sitting in the car going through her purse, which I'll tell you right now, like I'd rather mail out another hat to someone than go through her purse. I mean, going through her purse, oh my God. It's like I have traumatic memories of times that I was like asked to find an insurance card in her purse. Like, oh my God, I need this kid's insurance card? This kid? It's like I'm sitting there, I'm going through it because there's 19 different insurance cards in there because, you know, we thank God, we got 6 kids and the insurance cards expire and you got to get the other insurance card. And I'm sitting there leafing through trying to find the right insurance card. I can't. I mean, I almost feel like they earned the money. They earned the money because they spent the time going through there. But like, they didn't take the purse with them and then just do it. This is the nature of crime in our city, that they're totally not worried, not even in the slightest, to spend what must have been 20 minutes in my vehicle there going through her purse, because I know what it is. I've done it myself. It's torture. It's torture. And and they went through that torture for 20 minutes without any fear, any fear that they were going to be caught, exposed, nothing. Again, in any sort of trouble with the police, no fear at all. Unbelievable. It's unbelievable to me. Like, that's the level of crime that we have in New York City here. This, like I said, we were in Brooklyn. This doesn't happen where I live. I live in a suburb. Doesn't happen. Thank God. I'm not used to this sort of thing. So yeah, she was never in any sort of danger. We didn't even know that she was robbed when she was robbed. And apparently they were very comfortable that they were never going to get caught. So they went on their shopping sprees in Target and in Foot Locker. God. Obviously Brazilians, because you know how Brazilians are with Target and Foot Locker. Those Brazilians are going to run free. They're going to run free. They're never going to get caught. And then what happens is, you know, I was thinking about this. So we report it. We get the money back in our account. I'm sure the bank has insurance for this sort of thing. So basically everyone's insurance premiums go up. Such a mess. No one cares. So we spent 2 hours with her basically shutting down all her cards because some of them still had some money in there. Not our bank account. That was gone. But, you know, making sure that if I put money back in there that they're not going to, like, you know, just go back again with the cards that they're already holding. So you got to cancel those cards and go through that whole headache and nuisance. Come back here, and I had shut down my computer before Shabbos, and I come back to my home, and my computer power isn't working. Like, it's not going on at all. I try plugging in different things, and these lights are all on. Plugged into the same power strip. And that computer is dead. Now, when I first started streaming, I bought a computer. And like a couple of weeks after I bought it, I got this new circle light thing, which is like a high voltage thing. which they say plug it into your computer. So I plugged it into the computer, and I heard this big poop, and dead. So what I did was I went out and bought another computer and sent that first computer back to the manufacturer and said, hook me up, take care of me here. And I knew that was going to take months, which is why I bought another computer. And for the last 3 years, I've been using that other computer. So I ended up building all my library of my branding and stuff like that, all the things that I use, like, the whole, everything like, just that sort of stuff, to my thumbnails and the pictures that I use, whatever, or reuse. So all that stuff is on the other computer. So now I'm over here and my mic setups are not right and my audio sounds funky and I gotta reinstall everything here. And my circus music doesn't sound anything like the circus music I'm used to. This is what I got going on here now. It's not the same. I'm living in crazy clown world now. This is not what I want. This is not what I want. This is the closest I could find. This is not what I want. Terrible. I'm listening to this and it's ripping my heart. It's ripping my heart out. What is that? What is this? This is not what I want. I have my bagpipe music. You know my bagpipe music. It's great. My bagpipe music is great. It's not what I want. It's not what I want. Even this doesn't sound right. How dare you? It's not loud enough. It's not loud enough. Maybe I can fix that. Maybe I can fix that. I can fix that. How dare you? It's really not loud enough. How dare you? That's a little better. I don't know. So she got hit, and I got hit. We both got hit here. She got hit like her purse. I got hit my computer. Not related at all. Just like, we came back like Saturday night. It was just like, wow, that kind of sucks. Wow, that also kind of sucks. Both of them kind of suck. But the take that we both had was, you know what? Like, thank God. Because here's the reality of the world. The reality of the world is sometimes some days are going to suck. Sometimes some days are going to suck. You might take a financial hit. You might take whatever, disappointment, whatever, things not working out the way you want it to go. I'm just going to tell you that we all got to take those days. We all got to take those days. No one looks forward to them. When you get days like that, you just say, thank God. Because it's a hell of a lot better than people dealing with health issues, people dealing with like depression and misery and all this other terribleness. People dealing with, life-threatening things. It's just, this is just money. This is just money, or it's like inconvenience and nuisance and aggravation. That sort of thing. You see stuff like that, instead of getting aggravated over it. I'm telling you, I highly recommend. It can be annoying. Yeah, it can be hell annoying. Really stupidly annoying. You're like, Dean! I get that. That's okay. You can have that kind of reaction. Dean! I'll tell you right now, every time I hear this, I'm going to be like, Dean! Not what I want. No. No. God. Ugh! But, thank God, not the end of the world. That's what I wanted to share with you. On that. But there's other stuff I wanted to share with you. Because right now, when I'm using the music here, it's not the same. It's not going to be the same. You're going to see. Because I thought this was a really funny story. About, like, the Biden regime. You'll remember that little video tour that Joe Biden did, where he stopped by a Sheetz little convenience place and tried getting in touch with the people to show you what a commoner he was. We watched that video last week. Very exciting stuff in the wake of Donald Trump being hailed by a crowd screaming, 4 more years, 4 more years, 4 more years. Yeah, so then Biden was like, oh, I can do that also. And he walked in, creeped out some kids who looked at him like he walked in there and they all basically gave the same look as if, like, this guy was knocking on the door. Y'all saw it. Y'all saw it. They're all just like, oh no, mommy! And Biden walks in the door. He went to Sheetz. I thought this was funny. This is pretty funny. This is what the Biden administration is. You want to know why the crowd at Sheetz might not have been so excited for him? Well, apparently, the Biden regime started suing Sheetz, that company, convenience store, for discrimination against old people. Discrimination against old people. Oh, you can't write a script better than that. President Trump is swarmed by supporters at fast food restaurants and bodegas. Spends a long time talking to them, and reporters happened last Tuesday evening in Harlem. In contrast, 81 million vote getter Joe Biden, is reported by the Gateway Pundit, stopped by a Sheetz gas station in Pittsburgh Wednesday afternoon and was greeted by total silence, save for one supporter who met him at the door with a hug. Video of Biden's entrance shows 2 children and the mother seated silently watching Biden with the sound of the in-store music heard quite clearly over the mall talk by Biden and the supporter. Probably sounded something like, I don't know. With a few supporters talked to, Biden was in and out in just 2 minutes, according to the pool reports. It gets better. The next day, EEOC sues Sheetz for racially discriminating hiring practice. Oh, sorry, I thought it was old people. Racial is not nearly as funny. Still funny. Oh, hi, I'm stopping by here today, and tomorrow, I'ma sue ya. Give me a nice warm welcome here, Sheetz. This is so classic for what the Biden administration is. I'm gonna use you and then sue you. Sheetz, a large convenience store chain, violated federal law by denying employment to class of job applicants because of their race. U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission charged in a lawsuit filed today. EOC filed suit against Sheetz, Sheetz Distribution Services LC, and CLI Transport LP, which together operate a chain of convenience stores with over 600 locations in 6 states. That's the clown Biden administration. According to the lawsuit, Sheetz has maintained a long-standing practice of screening all job applicants for records of criminal conviction and then denying them employment based on those records. The EOC charged that Sheetz hiring practice disproportionately screened out Black, Native American, Alaskan Native, and multiracial applicants. I didn't know there's a lot of Alaskans in prison. Who knew? Who knew? Sheetz company-wide hiring practices violate provisions of Title VII that prohibit disparate impact discrimination, the EOC says. Lawsuit does not allege that Sheetz was motivated by race when making hiring decisions. What about old people? How do they treat old people? They treat old people well? Such alleged conduct violates Title VII, which prohibits facially neutral employment practices that cause a discriminatory impact because of race when those practices are not job related and consistent with business necessity. That music sucks. 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 With the right music. It changes the whole character of the story. I can't cover this story anymore. I can't. Let's watch them scare the bejesus out of little kids. Oh, not that.
No more downtime. Get help now.
Ah! Ah! Ooh. Oh, God. Who's this creepy little man walking with weird gait? He even walks like he's got diapers on. Everyone's very excited to see him. It's not quite as effective as that time he sat down with the black family and talked to him about, you know, sat having chicken fingers with the black family. Such a racist. You can't come back here, sir. Well, there you go. Anyhow. What story works totally differently? Totally differently. Have the right music. Wrong music blows it. Blows it. John Roberts going for the new $20 Buddy Cashes. What? This $20 sound sucks. It's basically an insult to those who contribute $20. It won't possibly encourage anyone to donate $20. I'd be happy gifting memberships and digging tunnels, oh leader. As he says again, this $20 sound sucks. It's funny. It's basically an insult to those who contribute $20. I won't possibly encourage anyone to donate $20. I'd be happy gifting memberships and digging tunnels, oh leader. I'm not a leader. My breaking news bulletins need a sounds, yeah. More Three Stooges music? I don't think so. That's going to get me copyright issues. Sucking. Are we discussing Bill and Monica? Not at the moment. Wait, are we discussing Biden's sheet wearing? He really... Don't tell me he doesn't walk like there's like something in his shorts. I don't know if she passed Biden's sniff test or not. I got stuff to cover here, though. I got stories to cover. I didn't even get to page 2 of my whole thing here. What's this? Okay, that's creepy, dude. AOC. All right, I'm up to the House Foreign Aid. That's what I'm up to. The House Foreign Aid. There's not a lot I can say about this, other than the fact that Congress is humiliating. You all know the story, but I'll give you a quick breakdown of it. I don't know why we need Mike Johnson. Why do we need Mike Johnson? What the hell do we need Mike Johnson for? Billions in aid for Ukraine and Israel breaking long congressional stalemate. House swiftly approved $95 billion in foreign aid for Ukraine, Israel, and other U.S. allies in a rare Saturday session. Democrats and Republicans joining together after months of political turmoil over renewed American support for repelling Russian invasion. With overwhelming support, the $61 billion in aid for Ukraine delivers a strong showing of American backing as lawmakers race to deliver a fresh round of U.S. support for completely depleted troops who have given up. Sorry. Yeah. Some lawmakers cheered on the House floor and waved blue and yellow flags of Ukraine, and they should be immediately impeached. The unusual process, with each bill having its own vote, allowed unique coalitions to form around the bills, pushing them forward. whole package will go to the Senate, where passage in the coming days is nearly assured. President Joe Biden has promised to sign it immediately. Quote, "We did our work here, and I think history will judge it well," said embattled Speaker Mike Johnson. No, they won't. They're not going to judge you well either. You were an utter disappointment. Okay? You're Mike Crenshaw Johnson. That's what you are now. You're Mike Crenshaw Johnson. Risking his own job to marshal the package to passage. He should be removed. He should be. Out. Arais. Get rid of him. Done. Done. I urge the Senate to quickly send this package to my desk so I can sign it into law. Quickly send weapons, equipment to Ukraine, or money that they'll quickly lose. And then pretend that they have no idea where it is, as we have no oversight over where that money goes. Meet their urgent battlefield needs for like the 9 people left on their battlefields. President Volodymyr Zelensky, standing in the wing of his his fourth mansion, said he was grateful to both parties in the House, and personally Speaker Mike Johnson, who he promised to send back $500 million to, for the decision that keeps history on the right track, he said on X. Thank you, America, for making me a multi-billionaire. Who thought a piss-poor actor could become a multi-billionaire? The weekend's scene presented a striking display of congressional action after months of dysfunction and stalemate fueled by Republicans who hold the majority but are deeply split over foreign aid, particularly for Ukraine, as it fights Russia's invasion. Johnson relied on Democratic support to ensure the military and humanitarian package won approval. The morning opened with a somber and serious debate and an unusual sense of purpose as Republican and Democratic leaders united to urge quick approval, saying that would ensure the United States supported its allies and remain a leader on the world stage. What happened now that all of a sudden this became so urgent? They don't really explain that to us. None of us know. Why is this something that just presto, blingo, everything happened? See, this is what I don't understand. Why was there urgency now compared to a week earlier, 2 weeks ago, 2 months ago? Why is it urgent now? No one can explain this to me. The eyes of the world upon us, and history will judge what we do here and now, said Representative Michael McCall. Apparently, they got their talking points, because that's exactly what Mike Johnson said. Passage through the House cleared away the biggest hurdle to Biden's funding request, first made in October, as Ukraine's military supplies began to run low. I don't understand. What are they using? What were they using last week? What is the objective for Ukraine? Have we figured out what their objective is? Is it to maintain their current position? Is it to push Russia back out? Is it to go into Russia? Is it to depose Putin? What does a win look like here? If you cannot tell, this is okay. Look, I know we're living in an age where critical analysis is dead. I know that. And I know that my audience here is far more adept at critical analysis than your typical run-of-the-mill audience. But in case you're new, which could be some of you, and if you are new, I am going to urge you to make sure that you like and subscribe. Do that whole thing. And join us over in goodlogic.locals.com. But yeah, you definitely want to be doing that part. But what I want to explain to you is this. During the BLM riots, I said this is not a just cause. This is a riot. And the reason you can tell, how can you tell the difference between a movement and a riot? How can you tell the difference between an actual agenda versus just craziness for the sake of craziness? And the answer is that there's a definable goal. We can say whatever you want about feminism. And there's first wave, second feminism, second wave feminism, third wave, new wave, I don't know, all these new waves of feminism. Let's look back at the earliest days. Okay? look back at the earliest days before we realized how damaging it is to let women vote. They had an objective. They were suffragettes, and they said, hey, we need to get women the right to vote. Okay. Now, there's a stated goal. We have to get women the right to vote. And they're marching, and they're rallying, and they're marching, and they're raising money, and their awareness, and I don't know if they had different days back then. They likely did not have that back in 100 years ago. But they had their movement, and there's a start that today we are here where we don't like, and an end where when we get here, then we've reached our objective. You saw similar things with civil rights for blacks, right? In the 60s. Jim Crow laws, red line redistricting. I mean, going all the way back, I guess you can go all the way back to abolitionist days and fighting to abolish slavery. Each step along the way, there was a stated objective that this is what we want. The problem with the BLM riots was that they just wanted more justice, more social justice. What does that look like? Well, that's very subjective. And when it's very subjective, there's no end game, which means you're never going to reach it. You're never, ever going to reach it because you don't even know when you've reached it. Because some people say it gets to here and other people think it's all the way over here. This is just a collage, a morass of different people who all feel sort of certain way about this, you know, in the same ballpark of like that they're not happy with something the way it is now. But what it will look like when we actually reach our goal is very different to the participants of this particular movement. That makes it not a movement. That's what makes it not a movement, that we're moving from place A to place B, which is what makes something a movement. It's just a mob of craziness who are just angry. That's the difference between a movement and a mob. And over here with Ukraine, it's not a movement. There's no agenda. It's just fight Putin, fight him, fight him, fight him, fight him. When do you win? What will a win look like? And when you cannot define what a win will look like, that's the same BLM mob. And since we don't know whether a win means holding your current ground, pushing back to reestablish the territories that Ukraine had before Putin invaded a couple of years ago? Does it mean defeating the Russian army? Does it mean marching into Moscow? Does it mean deposing Putin? What does a win look like? Nobody knows. Nobody could tell us. And if you cannot answer that question, you must be able to answer that question before you can sanction and say, this is why we are sending money. And if you cannot establish that, so this way we know when we're done. We know what the end game will look like, or what we're hoping the end game will look like. Then if you don't know what you're hoping the end game will look like, there is zero chance, zero, not any chance in hell that you're going to reach an end game. And that's what makes this funding bill so criminal. That's what makes it so utterly terrible. Because there is no end game, there is no objective, there is just, we're fighting Putin. You can say this, you'll say the same thing a year from now, and the year after that, and the year after that, and the year after that. It doesn't even matter whether they manage to push him back. People can argue to the blue in the face that yes, Ukraine can do it, no, they cannot. Their army is depleted, they have enough. If we send more money, if we send more troops, if we send more, whatever we have to send more weaponry, we have to send more javelins, send whatever it is that we have to send there. You can keep sending and sending and sending and sending and sending and sending and sending. But we don't have no idea what the hell we're sending them there for, because no one can tell us what the agenda is. If you cannot tell us what the agenda is, you do not have a movement. You just have craziness that is being supported under some ridiculous notion of like, oh, this is what virtue is. This is what a good person is. This is good policy. This is good for America, or whatever stupid messaging you have that people who have no critical analysis skills are like, oh yeah, that sounds like a really good thing. That sounds like what a good person would would do. I'm a good person. We're all a good person. Why would you be against this? Are you not a good person? Oh, you love Putin? Is something wrong with you here? Are you want to kill Granny? It's like, it's just, this is this craziness here where there's no movement. I can understand, I might disagree with some movements, but I can at least understand that, hey, this is an agenda as far as that you can, if you're comfortable expressing what your movement is, then perhaps you have a legitimate movement. But if you're not even comfortable enough, or you can't figure out how to phrase what it is that you're up, that the end game looks like, you do not have a movement. What you have is grifting. Tons and tons of grifting. And weaponizing emotion so that people who are desperate to look like they are persons of virtue will get on your side and say, yay, do that. This is what virtuous people do, even though we have no idea what you're doing. There's no difference. There's no difference between Vladimir Zelensky and Patricia McCullers, the head of BLM. Zero difference. Nothing. Not in the slightest. I defy you to give me a distinction between them. Bogey says, hey, Joe, Cholamoid show idea. Cholamoid is the intermediary days of Passover. Check out ILPS debate that Sagar from Breaking Point hosted. Bonus if you break down with good logic. Lots of history. Dave Smith and Cenk versus Dennis Prager and Batches something. I didn't watch it yet. I heard about this. I didn't get to watch it yet. I don't know if I'm going to watch it. But I would get good reception. It depends where house, but instead he went to a random grocery store trying to copy Trump's bodega thing. Yeah, it's probably true. Probably true. Mike McCarthy Johnson, a.k.a. Rhino, a.k.a. Inflation Leader Supreme, a.k.a. Worthless, a.k.a. Democrats control the House, a.k.a. Tell me how you really feel, a.k.a. Why do we even vote Republican, a.k.a. This nation is lost, a.k.a. Dig, 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 dig. That was so good. That is so good. I had to give you one of those. Hey Joe, how long have your Sarah's gone? My long was 7 hours. LOL. Also, how likely is it that Trump goes to jail and for how long? What is that? What would he even look like in jail? I don't understand. What are they doing in the Secret Service? No one can answer that to me. What does jail mean? I'm not predicting that. I'm not gonna hazard a guess on what's gonna happen when no one can even explain to me what that would look like. Malcolm, there's cool Trump org FBI 302 from the 80s that can make an interesting stream on Slow Week. Any chance you read sometime Mafia takedown stuff? Trump org FBI 302 from the 80s. I don't even know what that is. Trump org. I don't even know what you're talking about here. Organized crime elements. This looks weird. There's a 4-page document here. I Google searched that, and this is what I come up. That's not what I wanted to do. This is what I get. Source who has a business relationship with Donald Robert Trump of the Trump Organization. I don't know what this is about. I'll see if I can make any headway out of it. Who's ready for the hot war summer 2024? It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Regarding funding bill, the House passed one stop the Senate bill from being forced through. Mitch wanted the Senate bill to hamstring Trump post 2025. House passing one stop the Senate bill from being forced through. Oh, by passing one, it stopped the Senate bill from being forced through. Mitch wanted the Senate bill to hamstring Trump in 2025. Oh, I don't know. That's an interesting take. John Jolene. Good logic is taking logical law and making a difference that leads to rants that enlighten with fire. Thank you. Thank you. It's a really important thing for people to understand the difference between a movement and a mob. It's a really, really important thing, I think. I'll link to 302 on Twitter. Okay, thanks. No one can imagine what prison is for someone with Secret Service protection. That's why they introduced the bill to remove Secret Service protection for convicted felons. Which, yeah, if any Democrat signs off on that, they should literally, we should impeach him like today. During Passover, I can't use these. Don't even ask. Don't even ask. I'm not allowed to use these because there's chametz in here. Can't have chametz on Pesach. 8 days. It actually is 8.5 days because I can't use these after 11 o'clock tomorrow or thereabouts. I'm going to be stressing. All right. Let me get to the Passover thing. Oh, before I get to that. This is how the... should I talk about this clown? No, why not? Here's your Democrats here. Die, MAGA, die. New York Democrat congressional candidate slammed for wishing death on all Trump supporters. Look at this psycho. New York Democrat congressional candidate Nate McMurray wished death on Trump supporters on Saturday in a post on X. McMurray is running to represent New York's 26th congressional district and Ukraine. According to Gateway Pundit, McMurray's the unhinged Democrat posted a death wish to social media after the House of Representatives passed a foreign aid package that allocated billions of dollars to Ukraine and Israel. Lawmakers waved Ukrainian flags like complete cucks on the House floor, which angered many conservatives. McMurray wished death on Trump supporters after the America Last bill passed the House. Slava Ukraine, die MAGA, die you lose. Listen, I'm not trying to antagonize MAGA. This is what this schmuck says. I'm not trying to antagonize MAGA. No, sirree, Bob. No, I'm not trying to antagonize them, but I refuse to let them strong arm us into silence. Yeah, silence is... The opposite of silence is saying, die, MAGA, die. Too many Democrats out there, timid. That's why the reaction to me is always so strong, because they're not used to Democrats being bald in their territory. Yeah, we're used to them being hairy. The MAGA movement preys on folks who are often scared and not the most informed. Yeah, that's what it's about. That's what it's about. Your audience is a very, very informed audience. Very informed audience. Twisting legitimate worries into racism, xenophobia, and outright paranoia. You gotta call it out, loud and clear, to save them for themselves. That's my mantra. There's a better way. I make sure they hear it. So yeah, I'm like die, MAGA, die. Unlike some politicians who tiptoe around and only get gutsy in a slam dunk elections, I'm out here clapping back at the MAGA crowd even in the tough spots, gun clubs, rural towns, county fairs. I'm never gonna physically hurt a soul, but I will hurt your feelings. You didn't hurt anyone's feelings. We just think you're a lunatic. You can't just starve extremism with silence. You got to speak up and dish it out. Yeah, 515 comments, 87 hearts. It's not going well for you, Nate. Not going well for you, Nathaniel. That's what you call a ratio. Beat us on the issues, Pipsqueak. Impressive backpedaling. He's a great variety bigot. Apparently Zeke Arkeem wants to take him on. Anyhow, all right. Let me explain to you about these Jinos. Let me talk to you about Jinos being Jinos. Apparently, it's no longer safe for the Jews in Columbia University, not Columbia the country, but the university, which is worse than a third world country if you're a Jew. And they were told to go home because their safety can no longer be guaranteed in Columbia University. Which only goes to show you that not only is your brain at risk if you go to Columbia University, but so is your physical body if you happen to have Jewish DNA. And this loony, Rabbi Linda Goldstein, apparently she's part of, I guess this is her organization also. I don't even know what the hell her story is. She's got two things? I don't know. She claims to be Jewish and a very, very big Palestine supporter thing. Shabbat Shalom from the Liberated Zone at Columbia University. The Liberated Zone. Unbelievable. What, liberated from who? From the Jews. So Shabbat Shalom from where there's no Jews. Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. This is what you get when you have a female rabbi. I'm sorry. There ain't no such thing as a female rabbi. Which is what I told her. Her comment, you shouldn't post signs saying Shabbat Shalom as the Hebrew can be triggering to our Palestinian neighbors. You should instead say Good Shabbos, which draws on non-colonial Yiddish. And then she got blocked for that. And I said you shouldn't call yourself rabbi, as your bastardization of that term of reverence could be triggering to your neighbors who follow Torah, because there ain't no such thing. So you should be more sensitive to that. Oh, I didn't know there were replies. Did she reply? Probably not. Oh, there was that. So what I anticipate you will hear, what I anticipate, if you have not yet heard, I don't go searching X for this. I don't go searching X for this. I want to talk to you a little bit about Passover. I told you all I'm going to be gone until Wednesday. Wednesday night. So it's Thursdays. There's 4 intermediary days, starting with Thursday, Friday, Shabbos, and then Sunday, which means Sunday night is going to be more Jewish holiday going into Monday and Tuesday, which is going to be 2 more Jewish holidays, not tomorrow, next week. So there's 2 days this week, 2 days next week. In between, it says four days in total that we don't do any work. In between are called the intermediary days, or in Hebrew we call it Chol HaMoed. And during those days we're allowed to do work, and I'll be on the internet. I'll be streaming on Wednesday and on Thursday. I plan on streaming both those nights. The holiday of Passover is celebrating Jewish exodus from Egypt. That is the most simplistic way of explaining it. It's technically the holiday of Passover celebrating the 10th of the plagues that struck the Egyptians, which was the precipice of Pharaoh telling the Jews to leave, go. I anticipate that some of these loonies, like Rabbi Linda Goldstein or whatever her stupid name is, is likely going to be talking about some sort of stupidity about liberation, and this is Passover as a holiday liberation. She and her ilk will invariably come up with some sort of stupid way of bastardizing Judaism, twisting it 180 degrees on its head, and try to say that this is about liberation from bondage and from slavery or from whatever, and that too, that we must awaken that within ourselves and recognize that the true spirit of Passover is to basically allow Hamas to kill as many Jews as they want, or whatever other stupidity she's going to be throwing out there. I'm confident that is messaging that she will be germinating over the next 48 hours, if she and her ilk, if she has not already been, if you have not yet seen it, you invariably likely will. So I want to just explain to you a little bit about what Passover actually is, as opposed to what these Jinos are likely don't even understand that Passover is about. They likely do not understand because they're simpletons. They think they're very educated when really they know nothing. So I'm gonna leave you a little bit more informed than they are. So when you see them expressing that this is what Torah says, or this is what Judaism says, or whatever other way they're going to try and bastardize Torah, that you'll know it when you see it. Passover is not a story of liberation of Jews from Egyptians. That is not what the essence of the story of Passover is about. Is that a tiny portion of it? Yes. Is that the essence of what Passover is about? Not at all. And anyone who thinks that's what it's about is sadly mistaken. We believe that God is all-powerful. If this was simply a matter of finding a way of extricating millions of slaves from being under the thumb of a tyrant, that is something that God could have orchestrated in 10 minutes, particularly in an atmosphere where he felt that it was appropriate to be revealing miraculous works, which is what he told Moses he was going to be doing. That he was going to be engaging in all sorts of miraculous events that the world had never seen before. So if he's going to be engaging in these miraculous events, he very easily could have just shot down walls around all the Egyptians and just marched the Jews on out in 10 minutes. The entire process of Exodus and all the 10 plagues that came was over a period of 10 months. It was a week of plagues, and then 3 weeks off, and another week of plagues, and 3 weeks off, 10 times. So instead of this taking place over the course of a year, it was a matter of like, how do we get the Jews out of Egypt? That wouldn't have been too difficult, especially when you're sitting here and you're willing to like literally split seas. It's not that hard to figure out how to actually extricate Jewish people from the Egyptians. So this is not like a miracle of liberation, because if that's all it was about, it would not have taken 10 months. It would have happened far, far, far more quickly. But the essence of the story Passover is not at all about liberation. Yes, that's a necessary part of it. The purpose of the 10 plagues and all the miraculous things that our forefathers saw in Egypt, and they were visited upon, the plagues that were visited upon the Egyptians, from the first plague of blood all the way through to the end of the splitting of the Red Sea and Revelation at Sinai, all of these things were designed to enable the Jewish people to recognize their responsibility to take the role of being servants of God. Now, And God wasn't looking to, now we were slaves to Pharaoh, to the Egyptians. And God wanted the Egyptians to recognize the hand of God. And for Pharaoh to willingly recognize, not that because he felt forced, because he was punched and punched and punched in the face, but out of recognition that this was God's will, that he abdicate his ownership of Jews into being servants of God. So the entire story, or the entire Exodus, everything that you've heard about Exodus likely is about a story of liberation. And you see the Prince of Egypt or any cartoon thing, they're all going to paint it as like, oh, this is a big story of liberation of the Jews from bondage and from slavery. And is that a part of it? Yes. It is not at all the essence of it, because if it was, it would have happened much faster. The nature of the miracles, and we talk about this a lot tomorrow night and the next night, it's the part of the celebration of Passover, this Passover Seder that you've heard about and almost certainly never seen properly. The point of the celebration of the Passover Seder is for Jews to recognize their responsibilities as to like what it is that we're supposed to do in our servitude toward God. Not that we are free, quite the contrary. Quite the contrary. We went from being slaves to Pharaoh to being slaves to God. Now it's a far higher calling. It's an honor. But it's not about freedom in the way that woke crazies think like, oh, freedom means I can go do whatever the hell I want. Or like these idiot Rabbi Lindas think that that's what it means, oh, liberation. It's actually a higher form of servitude. It's a 24/7 servitude. Because Pharaoh's not always watching, but God is. And it's a recognition of the importance of accepting that upon yourself. That's what Passover is about, ultimately. So, when you hear the Rabbi Lindas of the world telling you like, oh, this is what Passover is all about, the liberation, and we should have liberation for this people and that people, and whatever stupidity she and her ilk, and I don't know that she individually is going to do it, but she and her ilk invariably will do, especially in the context of everything that's happening globally and politically. Please understand that she's an idiot. And anyone who says anything of the kind is an idiot. And they literally have no friggin' clue what Passover is actually about. So that's what I wanted to share with you. I'm sure very few of you knew that, because if you watch Ten Commandments, or if you watch the Prince of Egypt or any of these other movies, they make it all about like, oh, okay, this is like, Egyptians, black people have their liberation in the Emancipation Proclamation, or I guess with the victory of, the civil with 14th Amendment, 13th Amendment, and with the North winning. And that was genuinely liberation. That's a celebration of. That was a celebration of their physical liberation from being slaves. And there's nothing wrong with celebrating that in that context, because that's what it was in the 1860s. And that was an amazing, wonderful thing that happened in the 1860s. And that's just not what was happening 3,300 years ago when the Jews were engaging in Exodus from Egypt. That's my point. And I want to sort of jump in front of these Jinos who I'm anticipating don't understand the first friggin' clue about this and are going to basically try and draw some sort of false parallel, so that when you hear it, immediately you know, oh, this is just an idiot who doesn't really understand what Judaism and Passover are actually about. Now I got this stupid song in my head here. I hate this song. This is so bad. There's a episode of The Simpsons where Homer Simpson is sees an advertisement for clown school, one of the earliest seasons. And in his head, he just hears doot, 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 doot. Not like with like ragtime music the way that is, but it's like I want that tune just more, I don't know, just less aggressive piano and more just like doot, 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 doot. That's what I want. That's a different flavor than someone pounding on a keyboard. Thanks for the matzah crackers. Pre-Passover mukbang, that's not happening. Frankie Lowe! Love your show. I'm an Illinois attorney. I assume you mean not one L, but you mean Illinois attorney. Once the BLM makes the adage true, which is, quote, nothing will change until there are riots in the streets. Just look at police forces in the cities that burn, defunded. Yep. That's why you knew it was going to fail before it started. There was no direction. Zero direction. What are you going to do? Just going to be screaming forever. And literally nothing gets accomplished. Nothing gets accomplished. All right. I think it's time for me to start landing my plane. I've been talking here for 2 hours and 15 minutes. I haven't peeked over here in a long time. I haven't looked in the ghetto. No. They hid this from you. What do they hide from me? What is that? You're not a mod? Can I make you a mod from here? I would love to make Breck Nichols a mod. I need to make Breck Nichols a mod. How do I make... I will tell you the one thing that I did a long time ago. I did it so long ago, it's on this old computer of mine that I'm using now. And that is my intro. This intro... This was so good. I was so proud of this. And I have to tell you something. If I could look at it 3 years later and be like, oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I want you to appreciate what I was proud of is that I worked very hard in syncing my facial expressions and my hand movements to the audio. First of all, I threw a ton of audio into a song, into the Hall of Mountain King song. And then like a ton of like famous legal moments, the famous scenes. If you're on YouTube, you haven't seen it. If you're on Rumble, you've seen this all the time. If you're on YouTube, you haven't, and you've been joined the last year or two, you've never seen this. So, and that is my intro that I used to use every day. And what I was very proud of is I found all these really amusing like callbacks from like famous law movies of like big moments. Like, you can't handle the truth. And I timed it with different hand gestures and motions that I'm doing where it looks like I'm practically saying those words. I didn't time it perfectly, but it's pretty good. So I'm gonna close with this and wish you all a happy Passover.
All right.
How do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Oh, guilty, but with a real good excuse.
They plead not guilty.
The prosecution is not going to get that man today. No. Because I'm going to get him.
$50,000 bail.
For $50,000.
$2,000 and better throw this jackass out of my court!
I will tell you, I got flack from my father because I threw a quote in there with someone using the word jackass. He's like, did you have to throw that in?
And the truth
This was my favorite.
set you free!
What, the truth? You can't handle the truth.
Did you say utes?
Yeah, 2 Utes.
I don't want these two fellas pitching knuckleballs at me at the same time.
I object, Your Honor!
The
fair sentence. Do you think they deserve to
That's Washington from Love Boat.
die, Mr. Haley? Answer the question.
Carly, don't deserve to die. Yes, they deserve to die. And I hope they burn in hell.
You're just a bunch of lousy, yellow, stinking cowards!
Sir, you're out of order. From the record, Your Honor, it's speculation.
So stricken. Objection overruled.
Overruled. To overrule.
You are out of order. You're out of order. You're out of order. The whole trial is out of order. They're out of order. That man,
Have you reached a verdict? We have, Your Honor.
We find the defendant not guilty.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Clay Shaw, not guilty.
Still love it. Thank you all for joining me. Hope you enjoyed. Oh my. Oh my. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that. Who got gifted? Hold on a second. Let me see if I caught them. I didn't expect that. Courtesy of Bella Stella, Patriot Wheel, Aaron Howell, Deborah Mellinger, Mary Harmony, Brendan, Mark Pugner. Mark Pugner, he's been here a long time. No Mandates, Nanner Knows, Ken Phillips, Too Much Information, all you gifted memberships. Welcome to the following. The following is not at all a cult type of cult. Not at all a cult type of cult, as Greg Warner would tell you as well. Greg Warner will tell you that as well. He'll tell his new 5 followers who he brought into the following. Dr. Voodoo, Hedy Lamar, hey. Karen Mannings, wow, look at this. Sub-Ohm Circus, and Cynthia J. All of you gifted memberships to the following. The following is not at all a cult type of cult. For example, I'm not the leader of the following. I'm a host. I'm not the leader of the following. I'm just a host. And knows that. I have considered it. I might get it though. I might get it back. It's just gonna take me months till this happens. I don't know I don't know if the motherboard's fried or not. It's gonna take months. But those of you who are new to the following, please understand that the following is not all a cult type of cult. There's no self-harm, no harming others, no spaceships, no tracksuits that are mandatory, no vaccines, no squirrel mutilations, no goat sacrifices, no dancing around bonfires while shutting off clothing to the rhythm of heavy tom-toms. No throwing virgins into volcanoes. We're very against the whole virgins into volcanoes thing. No smearing blood on the walls. No sitting back with crossed legs going, oh my home. But there is a little bit of going to Seder's. So with that, thank you all for joining. Please make sure you sign up here, wherever you are, Rumble, YouTube, and head over to goodlogic.locals.com so you never miss where I'm going to be next. I expect to be back here, God willing, Wednesday night. Maybe not 10 sharp, might be a little bit late. Wednesday night. Mark your calendars. Look to the east at the dawn of the third day. But not dawn. But you know what I'm saying. That was my Gandalf moment. Oh, that's not bad. That's a good one I refound. There was a song called Life of a Wizard. That's what I was like. I'm signing off and saying, look to the east like Gandalf saying on the morning of the third day, I shall arrive. Look to the east, Wednesday night. That's when I'll see you all next. I hope you all have a phenomenal Passover. Go Trump 24. Take care of yourselves. Have a good night. And as always, my friends, don't eat the bugs. Godspeed.